Hey everyone, thank you again for tuning into my YouTube channel. So today we're going to be talking about on-location retouching with Evoto. Oftentimes we only think that Evoto retouching only works for studio portraits, but I'm here to change that narrative for you. You can actually use Evoto.AI to edit your on-location portraits just as you would edit your in-studio portraits. So let's get started. So here I have some portraits from a photo shoot with an Olympic 400-meter hurdler. Now, we shot this at a track. As you can see, we have some nice clean images with him on the track, with him in some hurdles. And we have a couple of images where we added some fog with him in his Team USA kit. So I'm gonna start with this portrait right here because I just love the framing of it and I love everything about it. So of course, whenever you wanna start your retouching, you always want to start with your color adjustments. Don't just jump right into the skin retouching. You always want to start with your color adjustments in case there's any tweaks that you want to make. So with this image, I already love how everything is looking, but I want to show you guys how great Evoto is. So let's get into it. Again, as you guys know, I don't usually use profiles. I don't use filters because I prefer to have control over how I edit and retouch my images. As you can see, we could automatically do some auto white balance if we wanted to. As you can see, it makes it a little bit more yellow. I purposely want to keep it as shot because I like the coolness of the photo. I purposely use blue gels because I wanted the image to be nice and cool. I'm going to go within my tones. Let's see if I want to change anything. I'm going to go through my shadows a little bit. I always like bringing down my shadows and bringing up my contrast. That's just something I always do within my work, but that's just my style. All right. Clarity, I'm just going to bring my clarity up just a little bit. So I like playing around with the hues and saturation, especially if I wanted to change the saturation or the tone of my blues, knowing that I can go in there and do that. I kind of like raising it a little bit where we can see a little bit more of that red. I'm just going to do a quick before and after. I kind of like where this is going with that. That's nice. I'm going to keep that. I'm going to go within my saturation. So as you can see, we get a little bit of haziness with the fog to where that blue disappears a little bit. I'm going to just raise up that saturation just a little bit in the blue and in the aqua. You can see that little difference right there. See, now if I bring down the luminance, as you can see, like that haziness goes down as well. The highlight starts to go down. I'm just going to bring it down just slightly. Perfect. And as you guys know, I always do the before and after. You always want to be able to see what you're doing and how your images are being affected by your retouching. That's something I just do between every edit. All right, the detail sharpness already looks really nice and clean. Perfect. All right, color grading. So I'm not going to do anything with the color grading, although we can. All right, so let's get into our retouching. I'm going to go into our portrait retouching. Of course, I'm going to have it selected as male. He does have a little bit of blemishes on his forehead, so I'm going to bring up the freckles and acne. That's good right there. Perfect. Quick little before and after. Nice. Yeah. Now, typically, I like, again, retouching males because you don't have to do too much work. You just want it to look as realistic as possible. You don't want them to look overly retouched. You don't want to make them look too soft within the images. So we're going to reduce the face shine. We do have a little bit of shine right here on the forehead. So I'm going to reduce it. That looks good. Perfect. He's wearing shades, so we don't have to worry about the dark circles or eye bags. We don't have to worry about the double chin. I'm going to add on this beard protection because he does have a beard. He doesn't have that many forehead wrinkles, but I'm going to do just a little bit there. Perfect. Now for body blemishes, he doesn't really have any body blemishes. Nothing really there for the neck wrinkles. I'm going to do a nice dodge and burn on his face. Perfect. So as you can see, I don't really go too high. Let's see what this textured smoothing looks like. I like what that did. Nice. Keep that texture within the skin. You know me, y'all. I always say keep the texture. All right, we're going to go into the skin softening. And even with the body skin, Nice. So as you can see, like with the arms, it did smooth it out a little bit. I'm gonna bring this down a little bit here. I'm bringing the skin softening down a bit too and just bring up the dodge and burn. Because again, I don't want him to look too soft and too smooth. He's an athlete. He's supposed to look nice and strong and masculine. Nice, but you can see just a little bit of nice softness on it. That's all you really want. Perfect. I'm gonna add a little bit of texture. Nice. Now I'm gonna do some unifying body complexion. Perfect. I'm gonna raise it a little bit higher. There we go. And that's just to even out the tones within his skin. Now this is a really cool feature. We don't really need it for him, but sometimes when you're shooting with men and they have, their hair starts to thin, you can actually fill it in with this hair part filter. And as you can see, it's filling it in, which is not bad, but for him, we don't need it. So but I just want to show you guys that you can do that. I'm gonna do the remove stray hairs. That is definitely one of my favorite features. There we have it. Nice, clean, simple retouching and done in less than 10 minutes. And the great thing is I can easily just sync these settings with the next image where it was shot with the exact same settings, similar setup, just different framing. And there we have it. Now the biggest difference between editing a studio portrait and an on-location portrait with Evoto.AI is we don't have control over the background or background distractions. So let's, for example, most of the adjustments are for solid backgrounds. So as you can see, the solid backdrop refinement, distraction removal, clean background is only for if you have a solid background. Also, even with the background changer, if you had a solid background, you'd be able to change out the background to a different color, to a different image, whatever you may like. But again, because we were shooting on location, because our background is so complex, you would not be able to use Evoto.AI to clean up anything in the background. Now we have these two other images that we shot in a similar location. I'm actually gonna sync these editing settings. And perfect, these look really, really good. As you can see, like the hair, the skin, the face. And the only thing I'm gonna add for my retouching for this image is I'm just gonna de-wrinkle the clothing. Because the other outfit had so much patterns and textures, I knew that it wasn't gonna be able to clean up those wrinkles. But when you're wearing something nice and solid like this, you can definitely do the de-wrinkle clothing effect. And I can even do it on the other image as well. And there we have it. So everything looks good from the skin, the clothing, the face. Nice and clean. And same thing for this image. Before and after, before and after. So as you guys can see, Evoto isn't just for studio photographers or studio portraits. If you shoot on location, you can still utilize Evoto.AI to help you with your retouching workflow. This tool will help your editing be fast, consistent, and professional. I hope this video helped you see what's possible outside of the studio. Check out the link in the description to try Evoto.AI for yourself and level up your portrait workflow. Until next time, keep shooting fearlessly.